the big cigar.
Dismantle the fear-based belief systems and now charge the faith belief systems. Right, so we've turned on the psychologist in our head on. We're now starting to stalk our own thoughts. We're being much more conscious of what's going on. Now we're gonna, how do we now take these fear-based belief systems that we believe is real and we have identified with? How do we change them now? We need to retrain the brain. So we need to change those around in a rational way. So these aren't just affirmations, these are actually shifts in perception. Okay? And that's where the magic lies. You've got to believe it. It can't just be an affirmation that you're reading, because I'm feeling so good today and I'm happy, H-A-P-P-Y. Meanwhile, deep down, things, you're really sad. It's not going to help. These have to be shifts that you can rationalize, that resonate with you, that you can believe. So let's check out. I'll give you mine. And they make perfect sense to me. I hope they make perfect sense to you. And let's see if we can rationalize and identify now with the positive. So let's start off with our first loop. And the first loop was unworthiness. Okay, we felt unworthy. So now how do we change that around? I found the best way for me is to suddenly realize, because if I see myself as the body and I look at my 5 senses, I see around me pretty much everything around me is kind of limited, everything's finite. But if you start to realize that you are not a body trying to have a spiritual experience, but you are indeed a spirit having a bodily experience, and once you open yourself up to those kind of experiences, your spirit can talk to you, and you will start to see things that will actually back up that evidence. Now, the body is kind of limited, but the soul is not. You're created in the essence of the most powerful force that there is in the universe. You're created unique and complete. There's no such other person around that can be you. And anybody tried to be you, they'd be a very watered down version. And I was actually going to say, when I said I said we were going to have a special celebrity world champion guest appearance, but I think I didn't put that on the on the social media. But we have a world champion celebrity guest appearance, and all you have to do to meet that person is pick up your cell phone, put it in selfie mode, and have a good look into the camera screen, because the person is you. There is no other person as good as you are, because you are you. If I had to try and be you, I'd be a pretty miserable imitation. So it's impossible. Nobody can be. You are the best at being you. And yet how often do we try and be something different? Often. So you've just met your celebrity guest appearance. I hope you get along well from now on. Okay, so that is now, unworthiness is false. You are worthy. You're created to stand out, not to fit in. Okay? There's nobody else. There's no comparison. It's not a competition. So let's put down the first loop. Change from unworthiness to I am worthy. Because you are very worthy. You're the most valuable thing. You're the most valuable thing around. You are unique. You're an ageless antique. I'm not trying to say anyone's old. So let's do. Do you all believe now that you are worthy?
Yes.
Oh. Can we see a bit more enthusiasm, please? Come on, guys. Do you believe that you are worthy?
Yes.
Damn straight you are. So let's change the I am worthy. Here comes the loop. That's good. All right, so now we've addressed the worthiness issue, that we are not body, we're much more than that. Far bigger. Your spirit doesn't just sit in your heart. It's actually the energy that holds your body together. Which is why when we do when we do go back from whence we came from, when we cash in our chips and we plug back into the universe, that's why the body rots and goes away. Because the soul is not feeding it anymore. You're bigger than what John Mayer said, I'm bigger than my body gives me credit for. I just love that lyric in his song. Bigger than my body. It's brilliant. Music. Love it. Okay, so I'm moving past. Yes, we know now we are worthy. Let's move on. Now where the world is an unsafe place. Right, let's get that BS right out of the way. You know what BS is, eh? What's BS?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
When I was to Robin Banks, he says, you know what BS is? I said, yeah, it's bullshit. He says, no, Brad, belief systems, BS. It's very good. Okay, so now, the world is an unsafe place. Let me just check. Yes, which is nonsense. It's BS. It's just a belief system. It's time to turn off the TV sometimes. Time to put down the magazines, newspapers, and turn off all that negativity. The human mind, for the sake of survival, is tuned to negativity. It's basically on the lookout for what is a threat. That's how it's been for millennia, especially when we were in the olden days, because we were prey. So, and that hasn't changed a hell of a lot. So we're still at that default stage of that negative mindset. Okay, so we will always seek out, and news and media know this only too well. So what do we see in the news and media? Bad news. Always depressing news. Always bad stuff. Here's an example. Look, it's tragic, but that northern rhino went extinct. Okay, remember we heard that? Was that earlier this year or last year? So it's a tragic news. It's not cool. But do you know that actually 50 new species, over 50 new species have been discovered? That didn't tell us that. Okay, not to take away the tragedy of the rhino, but it's just the point that they mention the negative, but there's never any positive. So a tool that I do is I then, if on social media, if there's ever any negativity that I see, you don't have to unfriend everybody, unfollow, and then you don't see the news on your timeline anymore. And then start subscribing to the people that share the good news. And follow them. And then suddenly when you get onto social media, you're now applied with a whole bunch of positivity. And that affects you. Because we're all one. Okay, there's a consciousness that binds us all. So the more uplifting stuff you see, the more uplifted you're going to be. Okay, so let's get away from the negativity. Follow Success Loops on YouTube. Follow Anthony Robbins. These are thousands. Follow the motivational sites. They're incredible. Give yourself a chance to see what goes out there. I tell you what, it'll lift your day. It changes you like that. It really does. It's been proven now recently that a guy actually said, oh, we're living in a dangerous age. He actually proved it with the statistics. And he said basically, guys, we're not in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Okay? You're not under that. We're not in the middle of the Third World War. Okay? He says the medical industry is the technology is ridiculous. I mean, the healthcare, the technology is screaming forward at a rate that's amazing. And that indeed this is the safest time that we've ever experienced. That's what has been put out there. But we don't see that evidence. So it's time to see that evidence. Cool. Have we got it? Are we going to see the world as a more cheerful place? So let's do the second loop. That the world is indeed a safe place to be in. Let's start the loop, and then we'll record the next loop over it. The world is safe. And that's how I'm worthy. Moving on. We then went, number 3, and our fears was that I'm powerless. We feel powerless, and that resources are all just too limited. Right. That might seem true. Now, this is kind of a tricky one. How the hell are we going to rationalize the way out of this one? But here's what I believe. we might be at a stage where resources do seem to be scarce, when they do seem to be limited. But there's one untapped resource that you have personally, because you're always looking outside of yourself for resources. You need to go within. And when you discover that you have resourcefulness within inside yourself, suddenly everything changes. Okay, so anytime resources seem that they're scarce or limited, seek your resourcefulness that is inside you. It's infinite. It exists in there. So you have the power to innovate, to inspire, to engage, to find the people that have the resources that you're looking for. Go and engage with them. Go and influence with them. You can make that. You can make it happen in the world. You are actually powerful beyond belief. Is the fact. Powerful beyond belief. Now that's pretty big, because if you think of the word powerful beyond belief, it's actually beyond your beliefs. So we need to start extending ourselves and our beliefs so that we can get beyond our current beliefs, which is the fear-based belief system, to the faith-based belief systems. That we are powerful beyond belief. And we all know the placebo effect, that if you believe it, it can manifest. So it's a question of extending yourself. This sleep is cool, because when you discover that you're powerful beyond belief, you then realize that, hey, you're a mover shaker. Mover shaker. I'm worthy. Will is a safer place. Okay? We can rationalize that. And you're powerful beyond belief. Cool. Let's get to love hurts. How are we going to get out of this one? Okay. This is interesting now. Because it feels real when your heart breaks. It feels real when you're disappointed. But let's shatter this quickly. Love doesn't hurt. It's the absence of love that hurts. I'll let that sink in. It's very clever that it wasn't quite good enough for me, doesn't it? Because I still feel the bloody heartache, damn it. Okay. But it does make sense, doesn't it? The absence of love that hurts, not the love itself. But let's elaborate, because we can go much further than that. This is pretty much the mistake we make with love. Because we feel unworthy, okay, and powerless, and unloved. We don't seek it from within. We seek it from without. So what do? We then, or our poor soul partner that's with us, or our friends, or our lover, or our wife, husband, whatever, then gets plied with all the responsibility of now making me feel worthy of love. So I put all the expectations upon them and make it their job to make me feel worthy of love. Does that make sense? Alright. So now suddenly, and when your partner now suddenly can't deliver all of that, we blame them. Because, hey, you're not loving me like I want to be loved. That's pretty tricky, because the expectations aren't all that easy to live up to, you know. I mean, a lady wants a guy that's a stud, and he's manly, and he's good looking, but he must be faithful, and he must be full of he has all these a lot of assets and own a lot of businesses, but he mustn't be materialistic, you know. And the list can go on and on. These are just far too much for any person to fulfill. You know? He must be like a cowboy and not cry, but he must also be sensitive. There's no way anyone could fulfill these expectations we have. So what do? You come right back to square one, and you say, it's not my partner's responsibility. Okay, if you feel that I am powerful, that I am worthy, okay, you then start to believe that you are lovable. You know that you are. And you give yourself what you need in order to feel that way. You don't make it your partner's problem. The partner's problem is to fill up their cup. So in order to make a relationship work, make it a hell of a lot easier, is here's you with your cup. It's your responsibility to fill it, not your partner's. Partner's responsibility to fill up their cup. So fill your cup. Here's the beauty of it. When your cups are full, you're not having to pour it into each other's all the time. They start to overflow. What happens to the overflow? You then pour that overflow over each other as partners. And watch the contentment and the harmony begin. Does that make sense? Are you getting there? Okay. So the thing is, oh, I love this. This is, a heart is not broken. It's beginning to open. A heart is not broken. It's beginning to open. That is, for me, is like, because I love words, and that for me is just so powerful. And it's beginning to open to the fact that you are worthy, that you are powerful. And the more you fill up your cup, that's the trick. The more you fill up yours, the more love you're able to spread out to everybody else, which is brilliant. So you are the love you've been looking for. You are the love that you have been looking for. A heart is not broken, it's beginning to open. Man, I get goosebumps from those lines. I love it. Okay, so that's love. So let's do the next loop. It's all about belief systems. Keep the faith. Dismantled all that learnt core fear-based beliefs that we learned as we were growing up. We've now learned how to recognize them. We can now identify them. We then now retrain the brain, in the membrane, and then we now start to identify with the reframed faith belief systems that we have now rationalized. Do you get that? Is everyone good? 100%. And these are not to be taken as affirmations. These are shifts in your consciousness, shifts in your predispositions. Okay, it's choice, which is a magnificent thing. Okay, so we've had fear, F-E-A-R, which started out as forget everything and run, to false evidence appearing real, to face everything and rise.
The Big Cigar.